So, welcome to Red Light.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of good things to talk about
we got
tonight.
some good stuff to talk about this evening, just like always. Tonight, we have an amazing guest, and so she'll be on talking to us here in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to talk to y'all about a little something we got going on. So I am Colette Portis. I am COO and founding partner of Red Development Group, and my amazing co-host is
And I am Reggie Stearns Kemp, CEO of Red Development Group and founding partner.
yes.
And we're excited.
We are excited. So listen, we've been telling you guys about how excited we are about our Red Force interns coming on, and so their orientation is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
We're so excited about them. And I'm sure you can hear my voice is just like nearly gone. I've been talking a lot.
Right.
I probably should
Because
stop.
she enjoys talking.
I do. But I enjoy it so much. It's like, how do you stop? So I got my tea. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I can keep talking because my voice will be nice to
We
me.
really have tea.
We really do have tea.
I just needed to
We
pour
got the
that.
tea and the tea.
That's right.
So, we've got some good stuff for you tonight. Our theme for the evening is missed opportunities, right? So, who is Red Development Group? Red Development Group is uh, Red Development Group. We work with business owners to help them to alleviate self-doubt, because if we're being honest with ourselves, oftentimes business owners have doubt and we don't talk to anybody about it. But we need to.
Right.
But not only do we need to be able to talk about it, we also need to be able to reduce stress, more specifically, the financial stress, especially right now.
Yes.
We've got business owners that are really in a situation where they're really stressed about their finances, and then connecting with the right support systems that are necessary to help them grow, and then earn the freedom. Earn the freedom you work so hard for every day, because we work tirelessly for our businesses.
Right. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs don't know how to voice those four things.
Yeah.
Right? And so we take on the task of being an entrepreneur, and when we get into it, we think we should know everything. Nobody's going to know everything. Everything changes. And so you have to be prepared. So you
Absolutely.
have to be continuously in a mode of learning.
And it's not about knowing everything. It really is about finding other people who know a lot about the things that you don't know a lot about.
And being okay with hiring them.
And being okay with either hiring them, partnering with them, whatever that means for you, being okay with that for yourself, and knowing that it is okay for you to do that. So that's what we do.
One other comment.
Yes.
And it's okay to have smarter people around you.
You better.
But that's hard for some people.
If you don't have smarter people, if you are always the smartest person in the room, you really are cheating yourself.
Right.
And you're failing yourself, because how do you grow when the max level of knowledge or information in the room is held by you? And so a lot of times, when we become entrepreneurs, we get frustrated by not being able to stay connected to so many of our friends and family members and things like that. And it's not about staying connected to the people that you already know, but it's about being connected to the people that you need.
Right. And then it's important that you keep everybody in their right compartment. And I hate to use that word, but your family is your family. They're not necessarily your support system for entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So you want to keep them in that loving space that they can support you. So don't necessarily look for them to be your clients or to support you in all your endeavors. They didn't start out that way. They are your family, and you love them and you spend quality time with them, but you don't have to shove product down their throat or be upset because they never really asked you about something that you're passionate about, but That's not necessarily their passion.
Absolutely. Well, not only is it not their passion, they don't know.
Mm-mm.
If we're, I was having a conversation with my niece and nephew who I absolutely love. And one of the things that I said is, how did you get the tools to do that? And the answer was, I don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have them. And I think we make the assumption that because of somebody's age or because of something they set out to do or because they have a degree or something like that, that we know. And that the truth is none of those things guarantee that you know everything. I don't know everything and I have 6 degrees. Now, after 6 degrees, if I don't know everything,
Right.
I don't know that anybody can possibly know everything,
Right.
So it's important for us to keep our expectations in the right place,
Right.
to manage them the right way.
Right.
And so that's what we want to talk to you about today. And we want to talk to you about missed opportunities. So some of the statistics that we pulled today, because we always want to make sure we don't want you to think that we're just talking, because we're not two talking heads. We're talking about stuff that we really know, and not just stuff that we know, stuff that people have actually done research on. And so the definition of opportunity is a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something. Right? A lot of times we think about opportunity as if it is something that somebody else gives us. But opportunity is not always about something somebody else gives you. Opportunity, you can create your own opportunities. Yes, we did with Red, right? We came together as Red because we were 2 business women looking for solutions and that we couldn't find. And so it was an opportunity for us to come together and create the solution and then be the solution for somebody else.
Right, to help empower and enhance their endeavors, their entrepreneur endeavors.
Yes. So
financial strength.
So 2019, there was a study done by American Express called the 2019 State of Women-Owned Business Report. So it's specific for women-owned businesses. And here's some of the statistics that came out of that. In 2014, minority women-owned businesses averaged $67,800 in annual revenue. $67,800 in annual revenue. By 2019, their average annual revenue dropped to $65,800. So that's a $2,000 decrease. You might go, okay, it's just $2,000. But when you start talking about non-minority women-owned businesses, their average annual revenue was $198,500. They were nearly at $200,000 compared to a minority woman-owned business who was not even at $70,000. Right. So they had more than doubled the annual revenue. But not only that, from 2014 to 2019, their annual revenue increased by $20,300 to $218,800. Right. So while it may seem like initially $2,000, we can make that up. That's not hard to do. But when you compare it, and you realize that their annual revenues are already more than double those of minority women-owned businesses,
and increasing.
And increasing by not by a little bit, they increased by 10 times the amount that we decreased.
That's right. And ours could be decreasing if we are not working a strategy.
If we don't have a strategy. Right. So the question is, why does this happen?
We just had a conversation before this began, and we talked about somebody who was in business and doing good business in the industry that's growing, but yet she's considering closing. Right? And it goes back to, did you have the right strategy? Or you just operate on,
or did you have a strategy at all?
Right.
Yeah. What are the tools? And then, and not only that, we're talking about missed opportunities.
Right.
Now, mind you, What Reggie just said is one of your friends. So they know me personally on a personal level. I'm a resource, but they didn't take the opportunity to access the resource. So it was a missed opportunity. And now they're in a situation where they're having to decide whether or not they keep their business open. Yeah. But if they would have taken advantage of the opportunity, they more than likely wouldn't even be in that place.
Right.
So what do? As a friend, what do?
Do you really want me to?
I do. Yeah. You're looking like I'm.
So get it. I've been both of us have been an entrepreneur for many years, and so the reason why you're in business is to make money. So the reality is, whether it's family, friend, or foe, you are in business to make money. So you let somebody know that you have the resources for them, but once they see that it's a viable resource, then they need to make sure that they pay you for that service. It's only right and fair, because or what happens, because we are friendly people and we have hearts of gold. Now we will give you the steps, but if you want the service that comes with that, then you have to pay for the service.
Yeah.
If you want an outline to follow, then we will give you an outline to follow. But service, outline and service, they're two totally different things.
Well, I think you said something really important. And I think, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. And I think what's important that you said is that, one, yes, you got to pay your people. I don't care who they are. Here's how I want you to look at this. Like, every time you ask a friend or a family member for a discount, what you're really communicating to them is that your family is not important enough for me to make sure that I help you support them. Your family is just not that important. And so let me say these couple of few dollars selfishly while you work hard for me. Why would we do that? What's that? Like, if you're the kind of person who expects a discount, who's looking for a discount from a friend or a family member who's doing business, ask yourself, why will you do that? Are you saying to your friend or family member that their family is not that important, is not important enough for you to help them take care of them because they're giving you a service? If the answer is no, then don't do that.
And then the other thing is, so if they're providing it to you and you don't take it, you just missed your lifeline, your opportunity, your time. And you may spend a whole nother year, 2, 3, or you might not ever get back to taking advantage of that opportunity. Right.
So this is a conversation. So you all we ask you to join in the conversation. So I'm going to ask you, when did you miss an opportunity and felt like, oh my God, I missed that opportunity? And know that it's highly unlikely for that opportunity to come up again. Like, share with us in the comments when you missed an opportunity. And I think we have a question from somebody.
Let's see, Monica. She says, what causes the disparity between revenues?
Oh, good question, Monica. I'm so glad you asked. I just pulled 5 of the factors out. We didn't pull all of them, but we pulled the top 5. Inadequate pricing.
Right.
Oftentimes we price ourselves lower for one of 2 reasons. Either we don't think we didn't do there's 3 reasons really. 1, we didn't do the research to see what the average price is for the product or service that we offer. 2, we don't think we're worth it, or that we don't think that anybody will pay it. But if they're paying somebody else, then why wouldn't they pay you? And then number 3 is simply just not knowing how to price your product and thinking that a strategy is the lowest price.
And another thing is, your target market, but then you really do nothing to reach your target market. Or you know your target market, but then you just take in consideration your environment and you say, well, they can afford it. Well, your target market can.
Yes. But what is that? What's the target?
Yeah, well, yes, target. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing too. And I tell you, every business seminar, everything that I've been to that's been business related, that's always the question.
Yeah.
And when it's asked, my eyes always roll to the back of my head because I think I know my target market and why are you asking? And I'm sure if I do that, everybody else does that. But the reality is your target market could be changing like a moving target.
Yeah.
And so you always have to be clear on who your target market is and are you reaching the target market? Has the industry changed? So that's why they're always asking you. So don't be offended when somebody is asking you about the target market and how you reach your target market, because those are two things that keep you in business.
Yes. So Monica, inadequate pricing. Yes. And I was just having a conversation with a friend who was talking to a guy. My friend works for a Black-owned business. He was talking to another guy who's an owner of a Black-owned business, and he was just complimenting them on how professional they are. And they always seem to have work, and what are they doing, and how are they doing? And in conversation with the guy, I came to find out that the guy he's a mechanic. And where the industry standard price for changing out the motor in a certain car is $15,000, he was charging $4,200 to do it.
Right.
You're 3 times less than everybody else. That's not a good strategy. And he didn't have work. He was struggling to have work. So most people think that being the lowest priced is the best strategy. It is not. The other thing is a lack of a strategic plan, as we've already talked about. Another issue is access to capital. And listen, ladies, I need you to understand, business owners, period, that access to capital does not only mean that somebody else is keeping you from the capital. Do you have the right paperwork? Do you have a profit and loss statement? Did you file some taxes? Do you have an EIN number? I can keep going on and on and on. Does the state recognize this as a business? If you've answered no to any of those, you just eliminated your access to capital. Nobody else did that.
Nobody else did it.
You did that on your own.
So you cannot be mad.
So you can't be mad, bro.
The man didn't.
The man didn't do it this time.
No,
the man didn't do it. Maybe the man in the mirror did it. But the man didn't do it. No, having lack of support. It's part of the reason why Red Development Group was established, because we understood that we didn't have the support that we needed. And then when we had it, or if we had it, we didn't know how to access it.
And sometimes to me, it just took so long to identify where the resource was.
Yes.
So, technology changes every 45 days. If it takes me 6 months to a year to figure out how I get something done, I'm already behind the curve.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What are your resources? What do you have available to you? And then missed opportunities. All of that all goes right back to missed opportunities. Who sits right next to you? Which one of your good girlfriends is really great at writing and conveying a message, anytime? Or which one of your girlfriends come up with the best names or the best acronyms, and you're not even asking them stuff as it pertains to your business, as it pertains to that. You're not even doing that. It's a missed opportunity. So we've got somebody really amazing.
Yes, and she's in the waiting room.
She's in the waiting room.
She's been waiting.
She's been waiting to talk to you. And she fits right into this conversation that we are having. She is amazing. She's a professor at Sam Houston, where I ain't gonna say it. I'm just gonna be quiet. She is amazing. Let me just say that. So we're gonna bring Miss Carla Jones into the room so she can talk to y'all. Hey,
hello,
Carla.
Dr. Jones.
She can't talk yet. Her mic ain't on yet. Hi, Dr. Jones. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good.
We're excited to have you with us.
Good to be here.
It took us a little longer to get to you. We had some questions in our chat. No. So
good.
Yes, it was good, and she wanted to, and she had some really good questions to ask.
Yeah,
about disparity between revenues and within the women-owned businesses, minority and non-minority. So it was really good.
So
Okay.
I'll get you caught up real quick.
Yes.
We were talking about, so some of the research that we've done, actually we didn't do, we just found the statistic, we found it.
Resourceful.
But American Express did a study on women-owned businesses in 2019. And that study said that minority women-owned businesses, their average annual revenue is $67,800 in 2014, and it went down to $65,800 in 2019 on average, while non-minority women business owners, their average revenue is $198,500 annually. And from 2014 to 2019, theirs actually went up by $20,800. So while minority women business owners' revenues were decreasing, non-minority women business owners' revenue were increasing, not only increasing, but increasing by 10 times the amount that we were decreasing, which means that we're still $22,300 or what, $22,300 behind them annually, plus some,
Right.
So the question was, why does that happen? And we were talking about inadequate pricing, lack of a strategic plan,
Yes.
because the lowest price is not a strategy. Access to capital, meaning did you prepare so that you could have access to capital before you said the man took your access? Did you have the paperwork that would allow you to get access? And then having a lack of support and resources, and then just missing the opportunity. So our topic today is missed opportunity. Yeah.
Good. It sounds like you had a great interaction.
It was good. So Miss Carla, tell us why we would even have Dr. Carla on here talking to us. Like, tell us a little something about yourself.
I've been intrigued by the aspect of strategy and positioning businesses. Most of my exposure has been to large scale businesses.
Yeah.
Fortune 500 businesses, that's what I study. But I like to say to my students that there's strategy in everything. I see strategy in life every day. We're making decisions, we're using what we know to move forward. So it's not just something that you use on a business level, but it's something that you use in everyday life. And to the extent that you consider what's your strategy, where you're headed, does this help or does this hurt? Then you can make some informed and intentional decisions. And so I'm the one that, I like to ask questions and make sure, I'm not trying to pick something apart, but I want to make sure that you've been intentional about your decision making.
That's good.
Dr. Carla, you said something that I love, and I say all the time, is it helping or is it hurting?
Yes.
Right. And then not only that, you mentioned strategy, and strategy needs to be applied to everything. And I know sometimes whenever I get ready to do a video or something, or even when we're talking, we always mention the word business strategy. And I know they're thinking, okay, well, isn't there something else that I can do to make this thing work? But the reality is everything starts with the strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you some type of plan. And the thing is, I remember when I first got involved in an actual job that had responsibilities with strategy, we were doing 15 and 20-year forecasts. And I laugh at that now because, maybe in January, 2 to 3 year forecast would have been fine. Today, I'm not sure what is going to happen on Friday.
Right.
So we have to update. We have to add new information. We have to be ready to make those. We have to be quick and nimble. And a lot of times are thinking, well, we have to come with the mindset that you may need to turn. And so pivoting makes, that word doesn't have the same power that it did. Because I think every day, I'm a planner. Every day I'm pivoting. I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is what you wanted to do. Can you still do it? And now how should you do it? Because the ways, the mechanisms that we use have changed.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that we, so we teach strategy. We help business owners develop their strategy so that they can be successful. But one of the things we teach them is that it is a living, breathing document. Yes. It is not something that you create, then you put it on your shelf and you don't see it again for a year. Mm-hmm. No, it is your instructions for the day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yes. An analogy I like to use is technology improves every 45 days, right? Okay. In business, and let's not mention the church house. When COVID hit, I remember Bishop Jakes talking about how, or it may not have been him, but how the church was 40 years behind. In business, if technology moves and improves in 45 days, we have to learn to change, improve, adjust. If not 45, we have to do it sooner. Yeah, sooner. In the past, we did not make decisions soon enough. We surely weren't dependent on consumers and for feedback to change. Mm-hmm. For years, companies just put out what they thought would work, and then the consumers bought it. But now with social media, consumers will tell you what they want, and you really need to listen and make the adjustment. Yes. So you're right. You have to be very agile, and with that, you have to absolutely embrace change. If you're somebody, it would always bother me when we would make a change and somebody says, well, people, it's hard for people to change. Yeah. Well, why is that?
Yeah.
I think we have to lose that. I've seen 80-year-olds, and we're intimately familiar with some 80-year-olds and our parents, embrace Zoom. Mm-hmm. Embrace watching worship on TV, on the computer, because the environment has required it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you can embrace that, what else might you be able to embrace and not limit yourself? Because things are changing so rapidly. We have to think, okay, how can I use this to benefit me? Yeah, and is this for good or for, is this benefiting me or is it taking away from what I want to do?
Well, it goes back to missed opportunities. Mm-hmm. If you don't make the adjustment, if you don't jump on Zoom, if you don't jump on social media and have the lives, okay, then you're going to miss opportunity to reach people.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and not only that, the world is leaving you behind because it is not slowing down for anyone, including COVID-19. Mm-hmm. It's just not. Mm-hmm. It is just doing what it does every day, and that is transform. Mm-hmm. We know our planet by itself is transforming. Mm-hmm. And so the thought that we wouldn't be doing the same thing, when you really think about it, it's like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense for me to think that I don't have to change. You absolutely have to. And then there's this whole thing that nobody talks about. You very rarely even hear anything about it, called the fourth revolution. Mm-hmm. Well, what people don't understand, it is already making its way through the world. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to, which I don't shop at Walmart, but when you go to the Walmart and you see the McDonald's to the left-hand side, you don't see a bunch of people standing at the counter waiting to take your order. When you go to the bank, see 3 or 4 kiosks. When you go to Panera Bread, you see some kiosks before you get to some people.
Yes.
Because somebody was taking our order before, the kiosk is doing that.
Well, and when you go to the bank now, you better like the teller machine. What do they call them now?
ATM.
The ATM has the teller person. Mm-hmm. What's that called?
Oh, yes. I don't know what that's called. But yes, a person there talking to you.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Now, the first time I went, I was looking and acting like a 90-year-old.
Where are you?
I don't want to talk to you.
You're right. I want a real person. Yeah.
Right, but you have to make those adjustments.
But think about this. What if you don't make the adjustment?
Missed opportunity.
Then you can't even go to the bank. You can't go to the bank and you can't get no McDonald's French fries.
You won't have no money. Because, you go to the bank.
But we're also giving feedback because there our entire society is made up of different groups. Okay. So I happen to have a father who likes to go to pay bills.
Right.
Yeah.
There are very few entities where you can even walk in. And I'm saying now, do you want to walk in? You know,
Right.
However, he likes that personal aspect. So how can you have something to satisfy part of the population who wants to walk in and talk and say hello, and the other part of the population who doesn't ever want to see you or hear from you?
Yeah.
You know, they haven't ever written a check.
Right.
You know,
Right.
don't know what a check looks like and what you should fill in each of those blanks. They're used to paying for things online. You know, they're the generation that made us, you know, start receiving mattresses through the mail.
Right.
No, you needed somebody with a truck all my life. You needed somebody with a truck to get that mattress home.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard to you know, have something that meets the whole spectrum. Yet somebody may end up being cut off.
Well, I think that's absolutely what's going to happen. My parents drive around and pay their bills too. I'm like, who does that? But they do, right? But here's the truth, especially with the pandemic now, that's probably going to come to a screeching halt pretty quickly. And then what? Like, and then my parents are calling me to pay their bills.
That's
online.
right.
You know,
it'll take you 5 minutes. That's
Yes.
what it'll take you 5 minutes. No, by the time you give me the passcode, we're in 30
they don't
minutes
have
in.
a passcode, Reggie. It ain't gonna take us 5 minutes. It's gonna take us 5 hours because first we got to figure out where is the account number one.
Well, one gentleman, the gentleman Scott McClellan, who advertises, I think he's the president of HEB. He spoke at Sam Houston and he said the older generation would spend 30 minutes to save $5.
Right.
The younger generation will spend $30 to save 5 minutes.
Exactly.
So we flipped, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drive and pay these bills so I don't have to put a stamp on them. Where they're like, click, click, click. Even if there's a fee associated.
They don't care.
Things are changing.
Yeah. Right. So one of the things that, and the reason why this conversation is important, especially as we talk to business owners, is if you're not looking at your business and saying, how do I move it into the fourth revolution, then you're going to be left behind as well. And one of those things that the statistics that we had last week, let me see if I can find it. One of the statistics we shared last week was from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and that was from this year, from 2020. And it said that one of the number one reasons, I think it was 13% of businesses fail because there's no market need. It's like, are you going to get yourself to a place where the market no longer needs you because what you do is so antiquated?
Right.
Church.
Right. Right.
Yes, but you know, a business has to be looking at, we need to split. They need to split their focus. One, what are your immediate competitors doing? What's happening outside of your business that you have no control over? And then that other eye needs to be on what is it that you uniquely offer that no one else offers, and why are you well suited to offer that? Because if you just focus on why you're well suited to offer this, the world outside is changing. By the time you look up, things may have changed already. But if you just focus on the outside, then you're trying to catch up, and you may not be uniquely suited to match what's going on. So it's this: you've got to define your area and then keep an eye toward what's happening outside.
Dr. Carla, you just said something.
Advantage.
You just said something extremely important. You said, are you uniquely suited to do this thing?
Yes.
Because if you're not, listen, I promise you, probably 5 days a week, I get a message from somebody who wants to start a t-shirt company. My hand to God, I'm not lying. I'm so serious. And are you uniquely qualified to do this? What do you know about fabric? What do you know about textiles and color? And what do you know about that? Or do you only know that you can buy something and press something on it? What do you know about this? Because if your answer is you don't really know anything about fabrics and threading and thread counts, and if you don't know anything, like you're gonna sell T-shirts, but you don't even understand what the thread count is on a on a set of sheets, then you probably shouldn't go into that business, because it's not about just being able to exchange something for money. If you're not uniquely qualified to do this, you are already behind the curve.
Right. What is your competitive advantage that you bring to the table? How are you uniquely positioned? Because, T-shirts, I guess they'll still be around, but, they're a dime a dozen, and you can get them, throw a stone and hit 3 places where you can get a T-shirt. So how am I going to notice you?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and there are opportunities everywhere.
Everywhere.
We're living in an age where the IRS is still trying to categorize these new ventures. They don't know whether to call them, they don't call them hustle.
No.
Although the president would be considered a hustler. But anyway, they don't call them hustle, but sidepreneurs, they're trying to categorize them.
Yes.
Because they're opening at alarming rates, and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the truth is, they're trying to figure out how to tax them. That's where the truth.
Right.
Going on today, very soon the days will be gone where I don't have an EIN, and so I don't have to pay taxes. They're gonna figure it out. Real quick, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Carla, share with us maybe your top 3 reasons why, as a business professor, why you chose to be a business professor, and then why you think you are making a difference in the lives of young, up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
Why I chose to be a business professor. I think that I've always enjoyed teaching, and it sort of started because I like math and can do math well. So I always wanted to show people they could do math. But as I progressed in my education in business school for my MBA, I studied strategy, and it just intrigued me. And then I see strategy everywhere. And so when I thought about what I would like to study and research and teach, it's strategy, because it touches everything. There's not a field where there shouldn't be some type of strategic lens applied. Now, regarding the young entrepreneurs, I think I challenge them to critically think.
Yeah.
Okay. And so my whole goal during the 15 weeks that I have them is to stretch them.
Yeah.
And I haven't thought about really the cycle of emotions they go through, but anger and frustration is definitely one of them. And I enjoy seeing that, because then I know that you're challenging what you already knew, and you're trying to fit something new in that place.
Yeah.
And so if you can do it in a class in 15 weeks, the next time you see it, you'll have it, and you should be able to do it. So getting them to critically think. 2, I tell my students there's no assumed intelligence. So just because you walk in and your paper is highlighted and you say nothing, you wasted my time and your time.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to speak when you need to and convince who's ever listening that you have some knowledge and you're ready and you can do it, just because you showed up for work, that means you can do the job. So critical thinking and being able to articulate what it is that you know and show that you know it. Then I think the idea is to use the tools of strategy, and know that those tools are going to continue to evolve and develop. Students like to say, I show this video that shows how quickly things are changing. And unfortunately, it's called Shift Happens, and you can find it on YouTube. And I think it's dated like early 2000s. And so my students always say, wow, I wish this were updated. I said, get the gist of the video and understand that things are always changing. So I don't want them, I'm teaching you how to learn, how to think. That's never going to go out of style. Okay. Don't think that, wow, I'm learning this in 2020. How am I going to use it in 2025? Think, I'm learning how to learn, and I'm going to continue to have to learn how to learn as things change. So I used to ask my students on an exam, what's more important, the external environment that you can't control of a company or the internal environment that you can control? And so either one of those answers are fine. I just want you to be able to support your argument. Okay? Make a convincing argument, because inevitably if you start at a company, you're not going to be the decision maker. Okay? Even if you start a company, you're likely not going to be the only decision maker. Okay? So you're going to need to convince somebody else. So whether you said the external environment is more important or the internal environment is more important, I want you to make an argument. So in March of 2020, I had an exam, had that question. And so all the students that put the internal environment, I said, okay, you had a great idea. You spent from January to March 15th working on that idea. Okay? You opened your doors. And then March 16th, here in Houston, we started with a quarantine. So all the goodness that you had developed, your unique knowledge, all of that was flattened because of what was happening in the external environment. So now you need to regroup. So now I think it's not really one or the other, it's both. You have to keep an eye on what's happening externally. You know, you had this great food truck, you took it all around. I'm in Houston. You took it all around Houston. You had this great following. You decided, I'm going to make a storefront. I'm going to sell food. You know, this food, I'm going to have a restaurant, invested in the ambiance, the chef, all of this stuff. And then March 16th. And you're sitting there. So then now what? Okay, you have all this following. What can you do? It's not realistic for you to make home deliveries to all those places. What is it that you can do?
Right.
So student, you have to, like you said, strategy is not a one-time, develop a strategic plan and put it on the shelf. You know, you better get that, you better understand, what do I have inside? What do I have that's unique? What do I have that adds value? What do I have that's different than my competitor? And package that some way and get it out there if you want to still be standing.
Right. And I think you said something important in the sense that you can, if you are a business owner, you are all of that. You have to be paying attention to internal and external
simultaneously
at the same time. And you have to be able to communicate on both sides as the owner. If you're someone's employee or working with someone, for someone, you can pick a side. But as a business owner, you don't get an option to pick a side. You better be able to communicate on both sides, because otherwise, if you can't communicate on both sides, you will miss opportunities.
Yeah. But it's okay, I think, to have a team of advisors. You know, like I have an advisory team. Okay, I'm making this decision as an individual. You know what? Let me bounce this off of so-and-so. I know they have my best interests at heart. I trust their reasoning. So even if you are the owner and the decision maker, also have a team of advisors. I hope that agrees. That's incongruent with what you guys, you know, that is congruent with what you guys would say. Because I've heard you talk about having a coach. You need somebody who has a different purview than you do, who can say, you know, that's not the right thing to do right now. Or like, I like to ask questions. I'm not going to necessarily tell you the answer, but have you considered?
Right. Absolutely. But and having a team of advisors with diverse experiences, diverse perspectives, who are not going to just tell you yes, who will call you on the carpet when it's necessary. But they have all been somewhere that you're trying to get to. Because a lot of times we use people who are where we are and who have what we have, who do what we do. And we want them to help us get somewhere, but they've not been there either.
That's very important. Yes. And you need somebody who has a different perspective than you do. And if you're sitting in the passenger seat with me, then you don't know what's down the road. You know, what's that? We can't see. I can't tell. You know, I need somebody who's down the road calling back, hey, watch out, there's a bump.
Now we both hit the deer.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we're talking about strategy, and we talked about always being in the mindset of learning. But the reality is, in my personal life, I have advisors. In my business life, we have an advisory committee. When we feel like we need to bring more people in, we hire people like the report. I mean, we are always trying to make sure we're aware of what's going on we're aware of what's going on internally. We're aware of what's going on in the industry, and then we're aware of, then we bring in people that we just may not be aware of.
Yeah.
You know, we try to make sure we tap into those sources, because you'll never know everything. And we talked about one of the things that weighs entrepreneurs down, self-doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to weigh you down because you're never going to know everything.
Yeah, and I think gone are the days, hopefully, where you feel like you have to know everything. But you know, like I thought of how smart and intelligent President Obama was, because he didn't have to be an expert. When you know how to surround yourself with smart people, then you don't have to know everything. And that's a relief, you know, a release. Okay, I know this person over here is thinking also. And so maybe if I don't catch it, they will. But surround yourself with smart people who are thinking.
So this is always a conversation with our audience. So I'm interested in those who are listening and knowing what is your number one stressor? Just right now, whether you're in business or you're an employee or whatever, what's the number one stressor that you have? And I think we have a comment from.
I don't think it's a real comment.
Oh, okay. What's your number one stressor? And then figuring out how you overcome that is the strategy, because strategy, again, Dr. Carla, as you said, is not just about business, but it's also about personal life. And so what's your goal, and what are you doing today? What did you do today to get you one step closer to that? Because if that's not what you're thinking, if you are getting up every day and you're just hitting the ground running and you don't even know where you're running to, then the goal's never met. Or is it helping or is it hurting? What did you do today, and how does it impact or get you closer or further from the goal? One of my favorite books, and you probably know about this book, I'll mention two of them. One of them is The Slight Edge, which I absolutely love, because the whole premise and idea behind The Slight Edge is every thought you have, every action you take, puts you on one of two curves. Either you're on the success curve or you're on the failure curve. There is no gray area. There is no in between. Either your thought or your action or your decision or whatever put you on the success curve, or it put you on the failure curve. Failure curve simply means that my goal was to save $5,000 in 90 days. But today I decided that I'm going to have McDonald's for lunch. That decision put you on the failure curve because it moved you further away from your ultimate goal. That's it. Failure doesn't mean total failure, because failure starts with a bunch of little steps, just like success starts with a bunch of little steps. And then the other book that I absolutely love is Blue Ocean Strategy.
That one I'm familiar with.
Blue Ocean Strategies is all about Amazon is in the blue ocean. Blue Ocean Strategies is all about, there's a red ocean and a blue ocean. In the red ocean is where all the sharks live, and they're eating up everything. You know, everybody's competing, and this is where everybody is. Everybody's got t-shirt companies in the red ocean. Well, in the blue ocean, somebody decided that all I'm gonna do is create comfortable tags that don't fade for t-shirts. They're in the blue ocean. They're out there by themselves, backstroking. They ain't running fast. They ain't competing with anybody because they figured out what this one thing is that was necessary, and they just struck out to do that. I tell people all the time, people think Amazon, I said, what kind of products does Amazon create? Amazon doesn't create any product. Amazon is a marketplace for people to sell their product. All they offer is a website for you to say you sell something, and a warehouse at this point. You know, and Whole Foods. But that is what they do. That is what they do, and they are doggone good at it. They're so good at it that they're kicking everybody's butt. Walmart, right? Most of the stuff you get on Amazon, you can probably get at Walmart. But why is Amazon kicking Walmart's butt? Because they were strategic about the way they were doing it, and they're staying in their lane. They started slow, Books first.
And they just keep,
And
they started with books,
Mhm.
back in the day, selling
Right.
books.
the book.
That's
Right.
Right?
now groceries. Now we think,
Right.
yeah.
And they even do cleaning.
Cleaning.
You can get service. Yes.
Well,
And that, I know.
I did see they just rolled out some new stuff.
Yeah.
But
And that amazes me because,
yeah.
so this generation is just so different when it comes to entrepreneurship, because it's almost like anything that you want, need, or didn't even know that you don't need it, it's available.
Mhm.
And I think one thing that made me understand that it is a different time and season is they had a service, and I don't know if it still exists, that if you wanted to box up something and have somebody pick it up and take it to storage, they could.
Mhm.
Not move you.
Right. Just pick it up and take this thing to the store.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, that just amazes me. Like, I could take my box to the store.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
But again, here they are. They will spend $30 to
Right.
save a few minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did all those things, and they're thinking, I don't want to do
I
that.
don't want that. I'm
They
not.
don't want to do that. So
They don't want no
if
part.
somebody else will do it, I'll pay them to do it.
Right.
Absolutely. It's like, so what I believe the distinct difference is between Walmart and Amazon, which is again why Amazon is kicking everybody's butt, is what does it take to get your product into Walmart? It takes a lot. You got to compete with people and all that. What does it take to get your product on Amazon? 5 minutes to set the account up. And guess what? You can drop ship it straight. You can ship it to their warehouse and they'll ship it for you.
Right.
And guess what? And here in Dallas, we can get it the same day.
The same day.
Their strategy, their business model is bringing a community together to serve the community, where Walmart is like, if your product is $10, give it to us for $5, and we're gonna sell it, for $15. You gotta undercut, you gotta compete. Well, we already have this person in shelf space and all. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. Who's controlling what?
Right.
Amazon is saying, here's access.
Right.
Yes.
Walmart is saying, this is the wall you have to jump in order to get your product. And then Amazon is saying, here you go.
Exactly.
Right.
Instead of climbing this wall, here you go. Here's the access.
Right.
And everybody can walk on the field. You don't have to compete.
Mm-mm.
You just have to come and play.
Right.
That is all.
Right.
And I think too, that speaks a lot to one, opportunity.
Right.
That's number one. But the other thing is, it speaks to the culture of this new millennial generation and Gen Zs. They're not interested in fighting about stuff. That was us. We like us and then the boomers. We like to fight about stuff. They don't. Yeah.
Amazon has a trusted brand, and that next generation, they grew up on Amazon.
Right.
Maybe that was like, in our parents' day, a Sears. You trusted Sears.
Yeah.
They trust Amazon. If it's coming from Amazon, I know it'll be here quickly.
Right.
I know I can track it. I know if I have a problem, I can take it. I can deal with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're gonna have store, and it's gonna be Amazon.
They already do. They already do. They already. What they're doing is buying malls.
They need to.
What? Think about it. The mall is not what it used to be.
Right.
But isn't that like perfect for an Amazon? They got everything that could be in there. Everything, carparts, all kinds of stuff. So I love them as a business model, because one of our core values is collaboration. Our biggest core value is win-win-win. And if I have a publishing company, and my authors are published through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is an Amazon company. And it makes it simple for them to be able to control their own destiny. They can win over there, as opposed to losing, the control of their 95% of the control of their works. They publish with a traditional publisher. Their model speaks to collaboration, speaks to being open and allowing people in and leveling the playing field. because there's no questions about gender, none of that kind of stuff. So in that sense, the playing field is level, but the question is, are we taking advantage of the opportunity, and are we positioning ourselves so that we have access?
Look, I always tell my students, I'd hate to be a competitor of Amazon.
Right.
You know, that if you can work with them, great. But if you're a competitor or they enter your industry, heaven help you.
Yeah.
They change the field. They change how things are done.
They certainly do. But what I love about them is when they change it, they don't change it because they're trying to smash you. They're changing it because they want you to come and work with them. You know, which is why I think Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world.
Yeah. But even when it comes to entrepreneurship, small and medium-sized businesses, I think it's important that they learn to embrace collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because for so long we were siloed doing certain things, but I'm hoping that after COVID, a lot of people will partner and do other things. Partnership may not be the word, collaborate.
Collaborate, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And more specifically, since we've got the good doctor, the good professor on here, more specifically are colleges and universities.
Yeah.
Because numbers are way low.
Right.
Yes.
But numbers are way low because our kids are not doing what we did because they see that we did it and they're like, well, it didn't work for you.
Right.
So I don't understand why you want me to go do the same thing. But I will say that a lot of the conversations that I've been having lately with college presidents and deans and all of that is, okay, how can we connect with the business community to help and to be a real resource for them? And so, Dr. Carla, I appreciate what you do every day because strategy is important. And people we just don't know that you don't know what you don't know. And we just don't know that it is. That's the truth.
But you know, if we could Amazon Amazon education, think about Amazon's approach to education and if we Amazoned education, what would it look like? And that would take us to the next level. Because it's access, it's collaboration. When, schools don't really collaborate, that's almost a taboo subject. I have my students, you have your students. But what if there was some type of collaboration and you can get what this school does best and then get what this university does best?
Yeah.
That's good.
And what's happened is they've just become t-shirt companies.
Right.
And now they have to adjust to say, because why, I don't know how many colleges we have in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
If one is really great at teaching strategy, then why are you teaching a mediocre strategy class?
So now I will say this. This is a plug for HBCUs too. So I was a graduate of Clark Atlanta University, and that's part of the AU Center. And so if you were enrolled in one school, you took classes at all the schools. That was just the best.
That's a great benefit. That's a model that a lot of schools don't participate in.
Yeah,
they don't, and it was wonderful.
And I think it has a lot to do with that idea around compete. You don't hear that word as much as you used to hear it anymore because people are just not interested. At the end of the day, we understand that we're business coaches, but we have lots of business coach friends that we collaborate with and do stuff with, bounce ideas off of, because they do not do what we do. That's a big, big word, or group of words,
Yes, but it's good to know what you do, that you can define what you do, because in your defining what you do, what you bring to the table that's unique.
Right.
So then someone else can complement what you bring to the table.
Right.
So
someone else, but collaboration is in order to get through this, I think schools and universities are going to have to learn to collaborate.
So the lesson, boys and girls, is know who you are and what you offer the world. What is your greatness? Don't bring us your mediocre idea that you just came up with or somebody told you and so you decided to do that. What are you great at, and bring that to the world. So Dr. Carla,
yes, ma'am.
Why did you decide to connect with Red Development Group?
Um, I connected with Red because I needed a business coach. And I only realized that I needed a business coach by hearing Reggie talk about this great strategist. Now, I know strategy, right? So why would a strategist need a strategist?
Right, you're right.
However, the strategy that I know wasn't the strategy that I needed in order to launch a new venture. And I had to come to grips with, okay, you may know this piece over here. However, you need strategy for a place that you've never been before.
Yeah.
And you don't need somebody sitting in the passenger seat with you. You need somebody who's been down the road and around the track 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Thank you. I need that. And it took 20 minutes maybe for me to realize that it was a good decision, because I knew what I knew, but that wasn't all that I needed to know in order to launch a new business.
Absolutely. I agree.
I agree with that.
It's the same reason why we have a business coach. Yes, we're coaches, but we can't see everything or know everything, and nor should we.
Yes.
And nor do we want to.
Well, no, and a part of our business strategy is we have some place that we're working toward and we're going. And it's far beyond where we are right now.
Yes.
And we've never been there before. So we needed somebody that had been there prior to us.
That's right.
Yes.
So we have one.
Yeah. And then somebody too, you know what you know, and maybe you have a sense of what you don't know. But I also want somebody who is invested, and someone who sees the potential in what I want to do. And someone who will be gentle when I need gentle correction, and someone that'll be more, harsh when I need that. But somebody who I know I can depend on. So yeah, you can, the person on the couch, that's a stupid idea. You don't need to do that. Or we need another t-shirt company. That would be great. I think your sayings are really nice. You need to put them on t-shirts. Okay, but that's all you can add. So having a coach that has the ability to critically analyze ideas, to bring in other resources. So someone that's connected, okay, someone who can bring in other resources is very valuable and very much what I needed. So that was my initial connection with Red Development.
Well, we're excited to have Miss Carla come in and talk with us. And so thank you for coming to hang out with us.
Thank you. It's been very nice. Thank you very much.
I always love talking to other people who, talk that strategy talk. I like it.
It's everywhere. Strategies everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. That's right.
That's that sexy talk. That's what I know. So listen.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have been hearing us talk about Atlanta and the boot camp that's coming up. So we had to make a tough decision.
We had to be agile.
We did. We had to adjust the strategy. So the boot camp will now be online.
Yes.
Because we want everybody to be safe. And numbers keep going up. And we want to make sure that everybody's going to be okay and everybody's going to be around to realize the dream. While at the same time, we understand that helping you put together your strategy and your plan to overcome and make adjustments in this pandemic so that you not only survive this is not about survival, but you thrive. We will still have the boot camp, but it will be live. It will be online. We are not recording any videos for you to pay for and go watch on your own. So we're not doing that. It will be live. It will be interactive, and it will be with people from all over the world that will participate. And so you will still be able to make those connections that we typically are able to make when we're in the room.
Right.
But we are the answer. We're an answer to the problems that you're having in your business or those things that are challenging you or stressing you out. as it pertains to your business. We want to help you alleviate your stress. We want to help you get rid of your self-doubt. We want to help become a part of and help you determine how to develop your support system and ultimately get your freedom back, because none of us started this journey because we wanted to work 18, 19 hours a day. None of us started this journey for that. And so if that's you, then join us July 29th through the 31st. You can get your ticket at redwomen.win or Eventbrite or Event Combo or Facebook. There's multiple ways for you to get your ticket. For each ticket you purchase, that allows you plus 2 of your teammates to participate. So you can definitely do that. And so we're really looking forward to helping you pivot during this time and make the adjustments that are necessary so that you thrive and you're not feeling stressed out and you're not feeling mommy guilt. And, you know, you don't know how you're going to continue to take care of your family when your doors are closed to your business. Because, I mean, seriously, we're looking at the potential of that happening again. And if it does, then what? And so we want to make sure that you're prepared for the then what. Yeah.
That is true.
So remember that nothing great happens with just one person. Remember to go connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Yep, there you go. We are more than happy to respond to your comments, and we'll be right back here, same bad channel,
Next Tuesday.
same bad day.
But next week we'll have some help.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
next week we'll have the Red Force on here hanging out with us.
So, Dr. Carla Jones, we brought on some recent graduates as interns, and so they will begin
Tomorrow.
orientations tomorrow.
Orientations
Yeah, so we're so excited because we could take off a couple of hats. We were wearing a lot of hats.
Oh, that's nice. And fresh ideas.
Fresh
Oh,
ideas
yeah.
and social media engineers.
Yeah.
Like technology. So we're excited.
Like
Sounds like a
amazing.
great collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
We
been
are.
amazing. So I just want to mention one more thing, two
Yes.
more things actually, that we got a big secret.
Yes, we do.
Yay!
Happening in September.
We're not telling you yet. You got to show up
They
to
gotta
find
stay
out what it
tuned.
is. But let's just say it will be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna be
hopefully
live.
live.
We're
If it's not
hoping.
live, it'll still be live.
If it's not gonna be live,
It'll
it's still gonna
live.
be live.
Mhm.
We just say it. Maybe they don't say live anymore. They say lit.
Look.
Yeah, no.
Whatever it is, you have to say it twice to me.
Yeah.
The Red Force will inform us, okay?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Force will be with us soon.
Yeah.
They will set us straight, right?
So we've got that going on. And here's the other thing. Very soon, Red Development Group is going to be looking for a national sales director. Ooh. So if you are really amazing at sales, keep listening and we'll let you know when that will go up. It'll be on our social media pages so you can follow us wherever and you'll find out when that job announcement goes up. But if you're phenomenal at sales and you really know how to talk to the people, then we might be interested in talking to you. You know, I'm just saying, come hang out. Yeah. All right.
I get it.
Well, I think that's all.
I think so too.
Yeah. So we had a good time. Thank you again, Dr. Carla. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
both.
You're
Thank
awesome.
you for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being under the red light.
Yes.
Did you feel the heat? No.
No, it felt very calm, very calming.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. So until next time, ladies, gents, and everybody else, we will talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.